Edgefield's been recognized for a point of personal interest, up to 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to try my best to do this within 5 minutes, but I may need a little bit more. But Senators, I'd like to address something that's really been troubling me more so in recent days. I'm a little bit leery about creating a precedent here where we have senators come to the well and talk about judicial elections, and I don't really want to do that. But I do want to talk about the upcoming election for the South Carolina Supreme Court. In many ways, this election is unique. It's not normal that we have candidates challenging an incumbent justice. And I'm not troubled by that challenge necessarily, though. We're tasked with electing justices to the court. Some have raised questions and concerns about decisions that have been made. That's part of the process. And I'm not really here to get into that, and I'm not here to advocate for a candidate. I know all the candidates. I actually like them all, know them all personally, get along with all of them. I think they're all bright, and I think they're all well-versed in the law. But they're not all deserving of a seat on the Supreme Court. Again, I'm not here to advocate for any of these candidates. Of the 4 candidates for the position, I can make an argument for 3 of them. I'll have a preference among those 3 when it's time to cast a vote, but all 3 of those judges are capable and would serve well in that position. But there's clearly a push for the 4th candidate, and that really troubles me. Now, I'm not here to be critical of Speaker Lucas. He's a very smart guy. He's definitely a pleasant guy to be around. We worked together on several issues while he was Speaker and I served as leader. This really isn't about him. This is about all the rest of us. Now look, I know there are legislators who have geographic or personal loyalty, and they're going to vote for Jay Lucas regardless of who's running. I don't like that, but I understand that it exists. I don't think that's how we ought to make decisions about Supreme Court justices. And in fact, I think that we've been doing a really good job over the last several years of selecting justices who are exquisitely qualified for the position, regardless of geography, regardless of personal loyalties. We've been doing, as a legislative body, a good job of selecting Supreme Court candidates. But y'all, this looks really bad. It looks like backroom deals are being made for someone who is not as qualified for or deserving of the position. It looks like the legislature's cooking the books. Over the course of many years, the legislature has made significant positive changes at the Supreme Court. Ours is not an activist court. They're also not, as some would have us believe, shrinking violets and subservient to the legislature. They've recently shown us that. These are serious people who tackle serious problems. And while I disagree with some of their decisions occasionally, this court does good work. This court, unlike some courts that we've had in the past, does not inject itself into political questions. These are respected people who've spent years, their entire professional lives, earning the positions that they now hold. Please, let's not screw this up. Y'all, many of our institutions are under attack, and we all see that. We recognize it. Some of that attack is warranted. Much of it is not. Most of the attacks on the judiciary are not sound. Overwhelmingly, we have competent, highly qualified, and ethical men and women serving in our courts. We do not have the problems that are rampant in nearly every other state in the country. Some attack the judiciary and allege corruption or other structural problems, and most of those accusers are uninformed or have a personal interest in the attack. But electing a former legislative leader with no judicial experience whatsoever gives credibility to the unfounded assault. It douses the fire with accelerant, and it is wrong. But it is what many people expect us to do. People understand giving special treatment to friends, or even especially when their friends aren't qualified. The public already thinks we don't play by the rules. They think we're all corrupt. They think we're going to pursue those things that are better for us or our friends or relatives, even if it's at their expense. Many people think we'd sell them out in a heartbeat if it's going to benefit us or somebody we know. And look, unfortunately, there have been people that many of us have served with who've given credence to that position. But you and I know that's far from the norm. I know you all. I know most of you really well. I know many House members. You are not corrupt. You pursue policies that you think are best for the most citizens. Sometimes we disagree on those policies. Sometimes I think you're just completely off base. Sometimes, probably lots of times, you think the same thing about me. But I think we're all trying to do what we think is right. Electing a former legislative leader to the court with no judicial experience, when he is by all objective measures the least qualified for the position, if he's qualified at all, is not right. It is wrong. It gives credence to all the suspicion and attacks. It makes the unfounded founded and the unwarranted warranted. It soils the institution itself. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored and privileged people. The people of South Carolina have entrusted us with awesome responsibilities. We stand on the shoulders of many good and bad people who've built South Carolina into the great state that it is today. Let's not weaken what we've inherited. Let's not contribute to the public suspicions of bad behavior. And let's not leave this worse than we found it. We have able, qualified candidates for the Supreme Court. Let's do the right thing. Let's surprise a skeptical public. And let's choose one of those judges for the Supreme Court. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator from Edgefield. Senator